Like many consumers in the natural world, parasites can be either specialists or generalised. One parasite may simply focus all their attention on one host species, or alternatively, exploit a wide range of host species. Specialised viruses have the opportunity to really evolve closely with their host, and a good example would be the human chickenpox virus. This is an intriguing virus in that while it is really an airborne childhood disease transmitted by coughing, it can also be transmitted through contact with the rash. It has evolved a persistence mechanism which allows it to become dormant in the body's nervous tissue, but then will re-emerge when the host is much older and the immunity has waned, at which point it causes the painful disease, shingles, in adults. Epidemiologically, this is a clever strategy. Since all the children in an area recover from an infection and so carry antibodies preventing subsequent infection, the virus can still persist and emerge later when these children become adults, and the adults can then initiate a new epidemic in children. Another infection of the nervous system that, in contrast to chickenpox, does not infect a single host species but a wide range of host species is the rabies virus. And this will infect raccoons, skunks, foxes, coyotes, ferrets, bats, domestic cats, dogs, humans, and many, many other animals. The infection process at the cellular level for the rabies virus is similar to many other species, and starts with the G protein projections on the virus interact with the receptors on the host cell surface. But the interesting feature about rabies is the virus's high affinity for nervous tissue, and in particular that it binds with the acetylcholine receptor, which are not only expressed in high levels on nerve cells, but are also highly consistent between many, many species. So the rabies virus can infect the nervous system of many different animal species. On the one hand, this provides flexibility, so the virus has more opportunities to infect different host species. But alternatively, it does not have a within-host persistent mechanism that we just heard about in chickenpox. So it's the fact that it infects multiple species allows it to persist. Instead, it must invade many more species in the ecosystem, and in so doing attempt to persist over time. When parasites are driven from a tolerant host species to a vulnerable host species, then the more vulnerable host species can actually be eliminated through parasite-mediated or apparent competition. A nice example of this is in the United Kingdom, where American grey squirrels were brought over and released into the English countryside. And they have wiped out the resident red squirrels. The reason they've done this is because they both share a pox virus. But the greys are more tolerant of the pox virus infection than the reds. So the outcome is that the greys continue to spread the virus to the reds, and the reds die out and have effectively been wiped out from most of their distribution, quite simply through the effects of the virus as an effective competitive weapon. This doesn't happen in specialist infections because this is similar to what has happened in the tolerant species. Here, transmission is dependent on the density of the host population, and so more hosts get infected when density is high, but less when density is low, such that below the threshold host density, the disease effectively fades out.